Hello, hello, hello. I think we're live. I wanted to capture the start of this altar fight, so I'm a little bit rushed. The thumbnail is sort of accurate, sort of inaccurate. Yay, we do have a good altar fight, but it's here in 1079 against 3308. And let me just see if everything's looking right. Is the music playing? I think the music's playing. It is, okay. We've got our siege line, and I am going to try and protect this siege line against the bad guys. Oh, hello everybody. Yep, looks like we're good. Yep, we're going. 1079 won the last altar fight. I would imagine this timing is probably a little bit better for our camp because we have, this is a very US-friendly altered battle. It's Asia-friendly. Pretty early, or somewhat early in the morning or mid-afternoon in Asia. I believe the opponents are largely... I think they're Asian and Russian mainly. So I think it's pretty early in Russia. Pretty friggin' early in Russia. But they're being game about it. They're trying to get in there. But numbers are numbers. In general, I do think that if you're the second camp to get to the altar, you have the advantage. We've seen 1093 do this in the past, where they show up a little bit late, but they all attack together. Like, they all go in at the exact same time. They ball up close to the altar and then wait. Because essentially what happens then is, like, the enemy is a little bit sleepy. They just, like, are sitting there and some of their players are idle. Whereas your players know, like, okay, we're attacking at this exact time. And you can have, like, a bit of an edge that way. These guys went in... They didn't really wait, right? Like, I didn't capture them approaching this because I was kind of, like, running around. They just sort of like balled up here. A few of them were down here. And then they went in like very, very quickly. But at this point, we've kind of overrun ourselves a little bit. I should probably change the chat here. I'll try to get the coalition markers removed later. Although coalition markers for altar are not that big of a deal. But welcome you all. Throw a like on here. Throw a like on the stream, that would be appreciated. There we go. AG, Nicholas. Oh, Nicholas, appreciate it. I will fix this thumbnail in a bit. And let me go ahead and pop a 50% boost. I wasn't sure if they were going to show up or not, so I only popped a 25. And then let me get another march here. Let's go with the Nevsky Ragnar. That thing has been working very well in this KvK. Very well. I would say that at this point, 3308 has a chance to turn this fight. Not knowing how things went back. Yeah, there's the pullback marker. I mean, I guess I should pull back. Let me just hit like one more guy and then I'm gonna pull back. Because I'm like fresh, so there's like no reason for me to kill myself march off here, But I mean, I'm hitting them and they're not hitting me, so let's just get one more here. RG setting the coalition markers. I will jump on voice in a second. Look at this. Look at this free. Look at all these free hits that Huo's getting. No one is attacking me at all. That is beautiful. I'm going to stay until someone attacks me. I feel like I'm very far ahead now. Little Lupus Nocti on the playlist right now. One of my favorite songs right here. As the Huo just eats. Just absolutely eats. Alright. Yeah, we need to pull back here because we've got a bunch of people at the altar. Alright, so I popped the boost. We've got the Nevsky here, ready to go. All critted, no awakened. And number 2 set of armaments, I believe. Yeah, second calves, I think, is on the Nevsky. Yep. Alright. So, I mean, you look at it here, right? Like, they could overrun us. Now I have to remember how to remove... How do I remove... Oh, there we go. Okay, we got rid of the... We got rid of the coalition markers. Very good. I'm gonna do one thing outside of this. And now I'm getting hit. Okay. Protect the siege. Siege is so amazing at the altar. I would imagine there are some people who build Siege just for these altar fights. You get super, super good trades as long as your front line protects you. And so us open field fighters, we have gone from the all-stars of this game to now we're just the meat shields. We are now just the meat shields for Siege. I got melted there somewhere along the way. I don't even know where. Let's look at that report. Nothing amazing, nothing amazing. Alright, so I'm going to have to put together a thumbnail while we play. Challenge accepted. Let me jump on voice. I'm just trying to put together a thumbnail while my Nevsky walks to the fight. Let me get the Uo back out. I don't think there's a fight at the other altar. Basically, 1079 was speculating as to whether... as to whether 33 was going to fight or not. But then there were enemies at the other altar. Or like 2217 was at the free altar for the opposing group. And so that meant 3308 had to come to this altar tonight. So I don't think there's fighting at the other altar. I think this is the only fight we've got in this KvK. Alright, let's get in there with the Nevsky. Alloys, welcome to the stream. Yes, I'm whaling it up. I'm whaling it up tonight. Using a whale account to fight other whales. And we will definitely get in there. Mad Achilles out on the field. With a very low health Zhuge Liang. Probably a Herman behind there, but it could be a Philip. Or any number of artifact commanders here in this King of all Britain KvK. One of the first big wars of Rise of Kingdoms 2025 here. A bunch of A kingdoms, very big A kingdoms, trying to take that next step and get a big win with all their new recruits. Make all those recruits happy, and then potentially even add more whale fighters from sad kingdoms that lose their first war of 2025. A lot on the line here in this King of all Britain war. And this is just the altar. It's not that big of a deal. Not gonna lie. Altar is not that big of a deal. It's one march for everybody. And especially when you're a very strong whale kingdom like 3308, you sort of thrive on like day 2, day 3 of a normal zone, because all your whales still have everything. They've still got all the resources, speed ups, and marches, and troops they need. And so, as the mid-sized players get worn down in a war, the whales just keep going. And 3308 did wear down 1079 and 1696 in the previous zone after about 4 or 5 days of fighting. So, I mean, they are a very tough group. I will say right away that 3308 is very, very tough. I was very impressed with how they played in the previous zone. Yeah, I'm sitting on a lot of resources here, Alloys. I won't be showing the speed ups. I'm not going to show how many speed ups I have, but yeah, that's just too much info for the enemy. But yeah, resource-wise, we're doing great. Resource-wise, we're doing great. It's the keeps. It's the keeps on these new KvK maps. Do they not even exist on this map? Oh, I guess there's no keeps on the King of all Britain map. But anyway, on some of the other maps, on like Heroic Anthem, for example, you get those keeps. And you kill a barbarian keep in the Lost Kingdom. They open up resource pits. There's 300... Well, look at the Huo. Look at the Huo warping. I just I just revealed my hack. I just revealed my content creator hack to bring 2 marches to the altar. The Huo here spectating as the Nevsky fights. Let's freaking go. Max power unleashed here. The Huo just eating. He's just, you know, they're targeting the Huo. The Huo's not taking any damage, but they're trying to target it. The Huo's just taunting the enemy. Taunting 3308. Like, touch me, touch me, touch me. No one can get the Huo, but he is there. He is in the zone. Rooting on the Nevsky. Yeah, Alice, this is the kind of KvK where people blow through a ton of resources. Let's go ahead and see how many resources we blew through already in this thing. 6 billion. 6 billion resources already in this KvK. First zone. Not a lot, really. Not a lot. 6 billion is not actually a lot of resources. I love this. I love that the Huo is out here rooting on my Nevsky. Yeah, for the free-to-play people out there, low-key one of the really nice things about like the latest KvKs are the keep pits, where you get so many resources in those things. It literally drops close to 1 billion RSS in those keep pits. And you can just put like this max march in there. The other day I had my gathering march join one of the gold keep pits. And literally, after a day of gathering, it brought home 8 million gold. Just AFK sitting in there all day. It was great. Alright, time to kill off this Nevsky. Let's get this Nevsky deader than dead. The Huo's already here, so like once the Nevsky dies, the Huo hopefully will just start fighting immediately. But the Huo might warp back to the gate. Oh no, yeah, the Huo warped back to the gate, but it is what it is. That's fine. That will give me a chance to upload a better thumbnail. Let me upload a better thumbnail to this thing. All right, multitasking complete. Thumbnail updated. And time to pop a fighting buff here. A little 10% defense. There's that Nevsky report. We're just breaking even here. We're breaking even. We're not going to fight in dot mode tonight. We are going to stay zoomed in, give you all a better visual extravaganza here at the King of All Britain altar. This thing's going to open up in about 35 minutes, so what 3308 is hoping, 3308 and their allies, they do have allies from 3013 and some other affiliated groups, such as 2469. What they are hoping to do, the Lion Kings, is just gradually get more people on. Just gradually get more people on and find like certain moments, like this one, for example, like this moment here, where they can actually push in. where they can push in and get an advantage. You see there's some fighting down here. And they can turn this still. Like, this is a numbers thing over a couple of hours. Just Cavs for ult. My best gear is archers. Yeah, this is a Cav account. This is a Cav account. I mainly do Cav accounts. You know, I'm a Cav guy. But we'll try some infantry a little bit later. We will try infantry a little bit later. Seba, this is the King of all Britain KvK? Yeah. King of all Britain. A heroic anthem style map with stratagems and with artifacts. I would say this is the best map. In my opinion, this is the best map in Rise of Kingdoms. You know, some people, they'll argue for the, you know, Siege of Orleans. People say they like Strife, but I mean, nobody's played Strife in a long time. But for my money, I liked the enclosed nature of King of all Britain. You know, for example, we're all in safe zones right now. There's no fighting in the zones we're in now. It's very similar to Heroic Anthem, except it's a little bit just more complex with stratagems and artifacts. So just a really good map. Really, really good map. I think it will ultimately be either the most popular or the second most popular map. Obviously, Heroic Anthem is still the most popular map. But I think as more people try out Britain, they will queue for this thing more and more. And obviously, Stratagems is a very good map also, because Stratagems has the same mechanics as this in terms of an artifact, and it has stratagems. The stratagems are different, though. The stratagems are different in Britain. There's a lot of counterattack damage on the rallies, and that very much changes the nature of this map, more so than anything else, right? If you have a lot of counterattack damage on your passes, on your garrisons and your rallies, it means that rallies and garrisons are a little bit more important. I mean, open field is still super important as we wipe the enemy here, as we clear them out, force them to do a full reset. Full reset coming here for 3308. Full reset. And there's a little bit of siege that we can get to. I think I just heard Charlie jumping on voice. Haven't played with Charlie in this KvK yet. But hopefully 3308 will reform and keep the fights going. We shall see. We shall see. It looks like they're just kind of trying some different moves. This is one of those things where if you're setting the ball markers, you need discipline. They probably should have reformed inside the gate. Or maybe at the gate, but they have reformed way too aggressively here. Way too aggressive. Obviously, there's a ball marker right here, and this ball marker was not a good one. Not a good one. Seba... Oh, I see. I have not really seen the new elite units. The new format might be God tier. I haven't heard too much about it. I mean, I saw that there were the elite units, but I didn't look at what the elite units did. But yeah, I mean, at an altar fight, for example, I think part of what the elite units have is they have, you know, they have active skills that you could cast, right? Like right now, I could cast some skill while I'm fighting, kind of like a Call of Dragons type of thing. And, you know, at an altar fight, that would be very fun, because in the altar fight, there's really not a lot to do here, right? There's really not a lot to do. But in like a full zone where you've got 6 or 7 marches out there and you have active skills on all your marches, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be a different game right there. A lot of hand-eye coordination, a lot of dexterity needed to cast active skills on 6 or 7 different marches. I suppose I do okay with it. You know, I've got old man reflexes, but I've also got a lot of years of muscle memory using this mouse and keyboard. So I think I'd probably be better than average with active skills on all these marches. But it would be a lot to do. I mean, this game's already a bit of a grind. Already a bit of a mental torture chamber that we go through in every war. Some more than others. But good to see Lilith expanding things, adding active skills to a new KvK format. Let people queue for it, let people try it out. If people like it, you do more of it. If people don't like it, you throw it in the dustbin with shifting gears, I guess. We haven't seen shifting gears in a while. I don't think we'll necessarily see Alliance Invictus all that much. Looks like we're maybe nearing... We're nearing the point where we retreat. I should probably kill my march off, though. I should just kill my march off. You know what I mean? If we're going to pull back here, then I might as well just pull this, get this march killed, you know? Alloy says, everyone went cav back in the day, so I did the opposite. Well, Alloys, the risk of that... I like the contrarian strategy. I am a contrarian myself. The risk of being contrarian, though, is you might get stuck being an Archer player like Alloys. Which, for my money, Archer is actually the worst of the open field classes. They're so slow. They don't fit my style too much. And I forgot to bring the Nevsky out. GG. Oh, we're at number 10. Okay, there we go. And we've got the artifact on the Ragnar Prime. No. Ragnar Prime is called Ragnar Lockbrook. What's the other Ragnar called? He's also called Ragnar Lockbrook. Okay, interesting. I thought this guy would be named like Ragnar Prime instead. Another good report on the Huo. No enemy elimination for this one. And we are falling back now. Looking like a very good push here for 3308. A bunch of knuckleheads like myself forgot to bring their other march out. Big time miss. Big time miss here by me. Talking way too much. Let me throw the best infantry on... Let me throw the infantry on this this Zug here. And just have them out here. We'll just have them out here just in case. But this is about to get spicy. This is about to get pretty spicy. 3308 getting a second wind here. Big time. Big time second wind. And they have breached the altar. They have reached into the altar. Yeah, enemy elimination is fun just because, you know, you can keep track of how good people did for that, like, specific event. I guess they can't put enemy elimination events for every altar because not every team shows up for every altar. But, I mean, it's just tiny little rewards. You barely even get any rewards for enemy elimination. I'd almost throw an enemy elimination up for every single altar fight. Let people go for it if they want. No, like, great, no great stats we can track here, other than the Autarch point leaderboard. We're in 477th place right now. Very good ratio. So let's try to bump that up. Let's try to bump 477 up to whatever we get to. But we're going to have to wait a minute here before we get back into the action. Hey, third place is good. Third place is quite good. I have never gotten third place in an enemy elimination. I can tell you that much, allies. But I mean, listen, allies, if you were getting third in the past with Forza in your kingdom, does that mean you're going to be capped at fourth place going forward? Doesn't a monster account like Forza mean that he's going to blow ahead of you in most enemy eliminations? Maybe not the altar ones. Everybody's vibing out on the 1079 voice chat. They've got some pretty good numbers here for a late night here in the United States. This is like everyone's downtime. This time period is everyone's downtime in Rise of Kingdoms. And yet here I am, having just woken up. I've still got my coffee that's only half sipped. Cheers, as they say. We'll get a little bit more non-hot coffee here, because I just woke up from a nap like an hour ago. So I'm fresh. Hopefully we can port the Lucci here. Nevsky Ragnar. Tank in front. Pure hellacious damage in the back. Really a bit of a mullet type of march here. Business in the front. Very tanky in the front with the Nevsky. Bit of a stat hog. And then an absolute party with the Ragnar Prime. Just pumping out the damage. Pumping out the deeps. Let's see if we can lock in here a little bit. I don't want to get caught out of position. I will take a little bit of damage here to get off these skills, to get off some skill cycles. I'm definitely in front right now. I'm definitely in front. We're going to move back a little bit. We got a Mechmed primary out there. Mechmed primary. Let's see if we can target that guy as the enemy falls back again. Definitely getting hit here. Looks like I'm chasing someone who's trying to get to the side. Stay in the middle of this ball. We'll pump out the deeps. We'll probably push them back to their alliance territory again. And then maybe we'll retreat. Maybe we'll retreat this time. Let me get the Huo out here. Let me get the Huo out here again. Boom, boom. And back to the action. Yeah, I mean, the thing about a whale like Forza, or like in our kingdom, we had White Castle. White Castle went absolutely ham at the first altar. He was in first place in enemy elimination by a long way, actually. And the thing about those accounts is they don't really have to worry about the trades too much. They can be very aggressive. You can see that I'm being kind of, I'm being a little nitty out here. I'm not really trying to get, I'm not trying to go too far. Obviously, I've got the graphics turned up here. We're not doing dot mode, so I'm playing it kind of safe, just give you guys the visuals while not getting wrecked. Don't want to embarrass the caveman account here with bad trades or anything like that. But, you know, a whale like Forza can just go in very aggressively at the altar. All of their marches have really good equipment and armaments on them. And just pump out a ton of damage, right? Because enemy elimination is not about trades. Enemy elimination is about the damage. And a really smart whale is going to be trade agnostic. And they're going to pump out the damage. I'm going to fall back here, I think. I think this is, like, ridiculous to stay. So I'm just going to fall back. I probably should have left it like 300k, but whatever. We'll fall back here. Here's a little commentary from Ducky. I feel happy to help 1079. The altar is the only place they can win. And this dude said, shut yo... I'm going to say, BA up. Shut yo BA up. I can read asterisks sometimes. As a native English speaker, I can read asterisks. This is shut yo BA up. But you can see that things are still very intense here. Both sides feeling like they can win. I would agree. I think this is a hard... this is a pretty hard KvK to handicap at this moment. Obviously, the enemy won this zone, Oxford, but our side won, or the north. Our allies won Chester, and then our enemies won one of these zones. I don't even know which one. I guess it's this one. They won Kent. They won Kent. So right now it's like even. It's basically even. The only sort of objective-based delta in this KvK at the moment is the fact that our side is winning more of the altars. And let's be real, altars are like not a big deal. Not important. Alex says I did get third place on the healing leaderboard. Yeah, hey, listen, you know, I mean, I'll be honest, like in our last KvK, it wasn't like a super hard war, but when we did fight, in the times that we did fight in our last war, it was the enemy's uptime, so like they were pretty effective when we did fight them. And Uni, who I would regard Uni as either our first or best player, he migrated to 960 recently, but in the last KvK, I would say that Uni was either our first or best player. It's either him or Algebra are probably the two best players we had. And Uni, like, his ratio was not that good. He had almost as many heal points as he has skill points, but it's because he tanked. He absolutely 100% tanked. And listen, it's not a flex. He didn't have autark points that he could flex. He didn't have autark ratios that he could flex. But I literally think he probably played insanely well because he did the thing that maximized our chances to have success, which is he stood at the front of the ball and he tanked for us. And so, you know, like the thing with alloys, like getting third in healing score is like sometimes the person who's third in heals plays real sloppy, and sometimes the person who's third in heals plays really, really, really good. And, you know, it's like one of those stats that mean a couple different things, right? Some whales, they don't have a lot of open field control. They take a lot of bad trades. They're very high on the heal standings. Other whales are just very aggressive and are not playing for trades. They're playing for this. They're playing for the ability to, you know, push the enemy back. Like, you get the team push. Everybody's happy. It's not just the whales who are happy now. It's everybody who's happy to be part of this. So, you know. A shout out to Alloys for the third place finish in healing points. And I'm not just saying that because he's a member. But do throw a like on this stream. Let's get it out there a little bit. Let me share this stream. Let me share this stream in a couple of spots. Wait a second. Did I put up the wrong... Do I have the wrong thumbnail up here? What the hell? What the hell? Oh, there's two... Why are there two live streams going? Why do I have two live streams going? This is very weird. I guess I can just delete this one forever, huh? That was weird. I had two live streams going. Anyway. Anyway, we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Throw a like on this thing. Let's make sure we get the exposure to the correct live stream. Alright, we are back in the pipe here. Bringing out the Huo. Huo Arthur. As a reminder, if I'm not wrong, maybe someone will remind me, but I feel like when 1093 fought against 960 and 2489, I think 1093 won some of the... I think 1093 won some of the altars in that war. I'm almost certain they did. I kind of remember it. So, like... The altar battles are just not the same as a real war. They're just not the same. But damn are they fun. Damn are they fun. You can jump on voice, you can be very relaxed, right? I would not be able to engage with you all anywhere near as much. If I was like, you know, managing a bunch of marches at once. But this is so chill, man. This is so chill. Yeah. I don't know why YouTube started 2 live streams. That was insane, actually. We will be doing a kingdom building podcast with Bus Driver soon, but it's not tonight. It's not right now. Get into some easy kills there. Now we'll go back to the front. We'll get in there. We'll get in there. Alright, we might have gone in a little too far there. We might have gone in a little too far. There we go. We got the deadids. Start up the heal. Send the Lucci Phillip in there. I have a feeling this Lucci is not great. Yeah, this arch formation leaves a lot to be desired for sure. But we'll give the Lucci a try. The wedge set is not that much better than the arch set though, to be honest. I don't know if people notice this, but now you have these ratings. You have the ratings for accounts. And you can see the cave is S tier in everything, but actually they're higher tier in armaments, 97.6. 95 in equipment. 87 in troops. Now why is this A tier? Why is this A tier? And then technology is S tier when he's pretty mid of the pack in technology. Kind of weird. But you can now see where we stack up in so many different categories, so many different metrics of account strength. 97.6% of governors in armaments, 95.7% in equipment is honestly not amazing for, you know, for a key account in a pretty big A kingdom, which Caveman is. And with almost 14 billion KP and some really nice autarchs, this is not out of this world. These are not out of this world as far as how good the equipment is and how good the armaments are. Altar now opening in 8 minutes. Enemy balling up. They're trying some different things. I think this was a pretty good pullback whenever we pulled back. Let me get the Huo back out here. The Huo definitely the best. The best of the three for sure. But no complaints about the Nevsky Ragnar either. The Mullet March. Yeah, some pretty mid reports, but we're just trying to get out there and have fun. We're not min-maxing here. We're not playing for the numbers. We're playing for the visuals. We're giving you the active skills of all these players. Showing you what this game really looks like when you zoom in a little bit. When you stay outside of dot mode and just embrace the graphics of this military game. This military simulation. Rookie with the bait. Master Siege Artist Rookie. You can look at this. He's got almost all of his commanders on... His commander buffs on Siege Commanders. Rookie with the bait there a little bit. Looks like the enemy now rotating. 3308. Advanced movements here. Rotating to the bottom. And we are making the adjustment. I'm very curious to see how much of this sort of advanced movement we see in the upcoming Monster Siege of Orleans KvK with 960, 1093, 2377, 1606, and others. Some of the best leaders in the game in that KvK. I will be curious to see how they handle their armies how they move them around, how they try to seek some kind of advantage one way or another. You can see that the redirection here is not bad. The redirection here is not bad by 3308 because our siege is very slow to adjust. Our siege is very, very slow to adjust here. We're lacking siege. Our siege is quite out of position. And so it's not a huge difference because most of our murder ball has shifted. But let's be real. You take the advantages where you can get it. You manifest edges wherever possible. And it does look like 3308 has manifested a bit of an edge here by just rotating from top to bottom. And here they come. Let's go. This is the push that 3308 needs to stop us from capturing the altar. The altar is opening in mere minutes. 3 or 4 minutes to go for them to get into this altar and disrupt it a bit. It's not about getting a couple of stragglers in this new Rise of Kingdoms, because if you bring a couple stragglers, you bring a couple of double C speed marches to run around and stop the cap, our siege just rips them apart. The range marches rips apart those harassers and those disruptors. You've got to get the full ball in this thing. You have to get the full ball into the square to disrupt the capture. And that is what 3308 is attempting to do here. But it just feels a bit like we have the advantage. As I stay here at the front of the ball, take a little bit of damage, but I'm not getting wrecked. I'm not getting wrecked here. I have rage that I need to get off. It looks like I did not get the rage off in time. We're back to 0. Rage cycle reset without doing anything. As we try to contribute while staying zoomed in, while giving you all the high fidelity action at this 3308 versus 1079 altar fight. Wally, how's it going? I will heal soon. The heal has started. I've got room. I've got room, Wally. I'm fine. I've got room. But thank you. Thank you. I will. It's always nice for you guys to remind me to heal. Always nice for you guys to remind me to heal. We will heal after this Lucci dies. I don't think I've traded very well so far, but we're at least building a bit of rage at the moment. Nobody's attacking us. There we go. Get the heal, get the skills off. There we go. Pull back a little bit, pull them in. Try to get back in now. Hit some people. Do the deeps. Yeah, Wally, once we saw that your opponents had taken the free altar, we saw your opponents sitting at the free altar, we knew that 3308 would come because they had no altar to go to. This is the only altar 3308 could go to tonight. So, yeah, pretty boring over on the 2906 side. It happens, you know, it happens. We're going to salvage this trade here at the end as we chase the enemy down. We're going to salvage the trade. I don't think I fought very well at the beginning, but it looks like we're going to get the cap here. 90 seconds. 90 seconds for the red guys to get into the circle. I don't think they're going to do it. But they may continue to fight because once the altar locks, we will have some people who do not want to be out where I am now getting 0 points. We're going to have a bunch of people who will want to stand at the altar, collect those honor points. I mean, honor points are very important. You know, the rewards are so incredibly mediocre. So incredibly modest. So completely ungame-changing are the end of KvK honor point rewards that you gotta get them. You gotta get the honor points. They're so worth nothing that you just have to freaking get them. The game puts a leaderboard in front of you. You have to think that it's important. It's not psyops. It's just basic human nature. Alright, we'll go back now. Not much more to grab there. Let's get some of those honor points. All right, we broke even. We did very little damage. I was a bit of a cameraman on that one. But hey. Wally says, you're doing good. I'm keen to ally with you. In KL, use all your archer towers so we can focus on field more. Is Siege good? Is Siege good in KL? I'm trying to remember this KL. Is there a lot of water on this? The thing about this Kingsland is it's so small, and there's no water. Like, the thing about Siege in this map, Wally, is that there's no water here. And so I feel like Siege is really good in zones with water, because you can just like put the Siege on the safe side of the water, and they can just pew 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 the whole time. But this zone is very, very small. And, you know, with the nature of KL and the nature of like some cities being very close to the fight and other cities being far away from the fight, I do think that Siege is going to have a bit of trouble, because they're going to have to keep like redirecting. They're going to have to keep repositioning. Look at this. We pushed them all the way back. We pushed them all the way back this time. Maybe I should have followed through with this one. I'm just chilling at the altar. Wally offering to whale tank on behalf of his kingdom. Wally, I have a question for you. Where is ST from? And did ST merge with 2906? Like, did you guys join 2906 recently, like as a very large group? And where did ST come from before this? I feel like I've heard of some of your players before. I think I've heard of like Trauma before, for example. But I'm not too familiar with ST. So I probably should have kept fighting. Maybe I'll go out. Maybe I'll go out now and like kill them chasing us. Like kill this guy, Shelby. I'm gonna go out here and harass the enemies who don't ball up, who just keep chasing. Get this march killed. Let's heal. Let's finish the heal. Let's finish the heal. There we go. We should have killed off this Lucci march. That's fine, though. Putin. Let's bait Putin to not form the ball. Let's bait Putin to just keep coming in. No discipline. No chill. Let's do it. Let's just do it. F balls, right? Forget balls. You got to get kills. Here we go. Yep. I think Putin fell back, but some of his teammates, they stayed. Look at this. All these marches are not going to be going into any ball. They're just going to die off right now. You know what I mean? So ST is from 2396. A group of 34 joined before the last KvK. We had like 30 interviews and we chose 2906. Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, 2906 performing very well in this KvK, and I do sense that the merger with ST was very good, because I think you get some leaders as part of that group. What I heard from one of my sources is that ST brought in a lot of leaders that you know, buffs up the leadership team over there in Abusement Park. And I think that's like really important, you know. $23.96. Yeah, the mergers are so good. The mergers, the biggest migration we ever did in 770 was when we merged with another group. We merged with 1252, and now, you know, 1252 is like they're half the leadership team in our kingdom now, right? So how'd that, yeah, the Lucci, well, this was like, yeah, not a great report for the Lucci. I have not had success with Lucci Philip at the altars. I think that something like Scipio Luci does a lot better because you've got the shield. You've got the shielding on the Scipio. I don't know. Also, did anyone notice that there's like a simplified version of these skills now? It's kind of cool. Yeah, so Scipio grants a shield on his 4th skill. And it's not a huge shield, I don't think. It's just damage factor 500. But with a lot of the AoE damage you're taking, a lot of the indirect AoE damage that you're taking at the altar, what a shield like this does... And this shield procs every time Scipio takes skill damage. So every time Scipio's like a little bit forward, what Scipio will do is he'll proc that shield, and he'll basically absorb the next 1 or 2 small AoE damage he takes. And that just allows like a march like Scipio Luci to stay up a little bit. You know, to stay at white health a little bit longer and get better trades. The Luci Philip doesn't have any sustain, and so it just tends to die a little bit fast for my liking, but maybe I just played it bad. Yeah, what a merger allows you to do is it allows you to bring your best players, you get rid of the deadweight, and I'm sure we see it a fair bit. I'm sure we see mergers a fair bit, but not as much as we should really, because I think it's super effective. I think mergers are incredibly effective. You know, maybe one of the kingdoms that loses in this KvK, maybe they will quote unquote fall apart, or it looks like maybe 2934 is potentially falling apart at the moment. And I do believe the leadership team of 2934, their leadership team migrated somewhere else. They went to like, I don't know where they went, but they went to like a big Imperium. And, you know, that makes that big Imperium so much better. And it makes the lives of the merging players so much better. Wally's group is probably living much better lives now because of the fact that, you know, they don't have to be the main leaders. They don't have to deal with the deadweight they used to have. And I think the next meta shift we're going to see in Rise of Kingdoms is people trying to make their lives easier. Let's do a little bit of a zoom in here. Do a little bit of a zoom in. Looks like I'm going in a little too deep. Let's pull it back. Let's pull it back. Yep, all right. Oh, I'm getting wrecked. The zoom in is tough, man. The zoom in is very tough. But boy, does it look pretty. So I saw Baldwin at the front for a moment. Baldwin, one of the big whales in 3308. Oh, I think I got my skills off. I did get my skills off, but this is a bad trade. That's all right. All right, the Nevsky's coming in. A tough one for Huo there. A tough one for Huo. A little too far forward. But as a whole, the blue front line here holding up very well. Keeping all the... Look at all this siege. Look at all this siege. Holy smokes. So much siege. So I was at least protecting this. I can trade negative if these guys are going to trade 4-1 in a fight like this. You shall not pass. A real you shall not pass moment here at the altar. 3308 in red, 1079 and 1696 in blue. Lot of siege, lot of siege. Lot of siege. A lot of players taking advantage of that commander swap to build siege. Ellis says, I really don't like the siege. I don't love the siege either. I do not love the siege either. I do not love the siege either. I don't think we need more siege. If anything, I would go with less siege. If it were up to me, I would go in the direction of this new KvK. I would go in the direction of more active skills. I would go in the direction of making this more skill-based. You saw me in that last... fight. You know, I was very zoomed in. I wasn't really paying great attention. And I kind of got wrecked. Right? I would love if they could figure out a way to... I would love if they could figure out a way to make it easier for a zoomed-in player to succeed and harder for a dot mode player to succeed. I think dot mode is like way too strong at the moment, and this is like way too difficult to do. But I don't think you make siege better. I think you make this better. I think you make people who are zoomed in, enjoying the graphics. I think you give them a chance to play better, you know? Siege. I was just saying siege should be buffed, and then I just melted one. Dot mode is the strongest. Dot mode is crazy. Dot mode is absolutely crazy. If I were not streaming, I would be in dot mode, but I'm trying to get better at fighting like this, in all honesty. You know, we're talking about, you know, different skill and what skill in Rise of Kingdoms, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to get better at fighting just like this, where I'm zoomed in and I somehow do decent, because I think this is a much better product for you all. I think this looks much better than watching me in dot mode. Like, yeah, the trades are better in dot mode, but I don't think, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, you can tell me what you prefer. Do you prefer to see me play like really, really good in dot mode and get like great trades? Or do you prefer to see me play zoomed in like this, get the visuals, and get pretty mediocre trades? My sense is you prefer this. And so I'm trying to get better at playing like this. And part of it is just like trying to kill... Oh, see, look at this. I'm like trying to hit this guy and I literally jumped in a tile. I was trying to hit that wing player and I jumped in a friggin' resource tile. So I got a ways to go. But this Nevsky Ragnar, still really good, man. Really, really good. I don't know if it's better than Nevsky Joan. I mean, like, Joan is so good also. So that's the only downside to Nevsky Ragnar, is it's a little bit unnecessary because Joan is so good. But it could be that Ragnar actually pumps out more damage than Joan with her double casting active skill. Could be. Could be. Something I learned this week, which I did not ever know, was that Ragnar Prime is not a wheel commander. My plan had been to build Ragnar on the wheel, to just like slow roll him. Do some Ragnar wheels from time to time and just slow roll build Ragnar over time, get some good value for it. But without the wheel, that's like, plan is really It's just, it's Fubar. Alright, I'm just gonna kill my march off. I mean, this is not a great... Oh, I can just kill this guy. I can kill Doraemon. Yeah, not a great spot. Now I'm in trouble. I'm probably gonna get my... They're probably gonna sink their claws in me. Nope. We get away. We get away. We get away. Hella chasing me down. Let's bait a couple of them in. We'll bait a couple of them in. That's fine. Oh, Gaines Gaming are here as well. Double content creator action. Can we get to the siege? Can we get to the siege before we die? I think we can. There we go. Look at this. Pretty good value here at the tail end of this Nevsky run. And we bring in the Huo. We bring in the Huo. That may be our best trade of the night right there with the Nevsky Ragnar. We were feeling that was a pretty good one. And it is, in fact, our best trade of the night. 146%. And we've gained 6 whole spots. 6 whole spots on the kill point leaderboard, up to 471st. Let's friggin' go. Everyone's saying Nevsky is not meta anymore. I mean, the thing is, if you're saying Nevsky is not meta, then you're saying that like William and Belisarius are stronger than Nevsky, and I'm not sure about that. But it is true that Seawill, you know, source of truth Seawill, when he sets up 3 cavalry marches, when he says, if you're going to run 3 cavalry marches, this is what you should run. It is true that Seawill does not have Nevsky as part of that 3 cavalry march set. But I think when you bench Nevsky, the thing about benching Nevsky is that it means that you have a good delta formation to throw on Arthur, right? Because if you can't make Arthur primary until you have a very good delta set. You can see here, you know, on the KvK account, we're working on the delta set, but a long way to go. At this point, you know, this is not a bad delta set, but it has a ways to go, and it's way worse than the wedge stuff. So you have to keep using Nevsky as a primary in a 3-cav formation until you get that delta set on the Arthur. Then once you have Arthur, yes, you can run primaries of Arthur, Huo, and Joan, and you can in fact bench that Nevsky. But I mean, I'm not going to bench Nevsky just to bring out, like, just to bring out Belisarius Prime, or just to build Belisarius Prime, right? If the choice is build Belly and bench Nevsky, or keep Nevsky and never build Belly Prime, I'm going to keep Nevsky and never build Belly Prime. So I think Nevsky's still in the meta at this point. While he's talking, Joan Arthur, Nevsky Philip, and Huo Belly as 3 good cav marches. Oh, they're going for the pass. Oh, this is... where am I? Alright, so I'm here. I'm safe. I think I stay safe. But they are going to disrupt the people coming to the pass late. YN Femboy in a bit of trouble here with 10,000 marches, you know, 10,000 troops. Ranged march. This is a pretty big rotation to take out this Edward of Woodstock, but I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work. Allies, it's interesting you think that these armaments are very good. I I mean, this is a very good set. This wedge set is fantastic, obviously. But like to me these armaments are not amazing. So like, Alex, if you have worse armaments than this, but you have like such a good account and have so many kill points and stuff, that's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting for sure. Armaments are low-key very, very important, because the thing about armaments, the thing about stuff like, the thing about something like Hunter, for example, where it gives you a 5% boost to the skill damage dealt, and then you also get a damage increase when you cast something. These stats, they exist outside of the normal stats. So, like, this is not adding to your existing skill damage or your existing all damage. This is a separate category of stats. And that's why inscriptions are incredibly powerful. Now, the inscriptions together add up like the same, like the 5% skill damage you have on Unstoppable is getting added to the 5% skill damage you have on Hunter. But these, as a group, they exist separately from the other stats you have on your March. And that's why inscriptions are super, super strong. And, you know, armaments are a very big deal for sure. For sure, for sure. Armaments are a grind, but what I like about armaments is that there's a little bit more theory crafting and a little bit more skill in how you build your armaments compared to equipment. And equipment is like so basic, man. It's so basic. Like, yeah, you can decide, do I try to what is it called when you do this? Refine. Do I try to refine? Do I try to refine my gear, or do I try to awaken it? Do I build new gear for a new march, or work on my like main set? But ultimately, armaments or equipment is very, very basic in my opinion. Whereas armaments are like a little bit more skill based. You got to figure out like what chest to open. You've got to figure out, you know, what to use your transmutation stones on, what to use your reset stones on. The conversion stones have made it easier for sure. But I like that armaments are a little bit prone to people making big mistakes or making really smart plays. But they are a grind. They are definitely a grind. You know, and most of us are at a point now where we've got a lot of really good armament sets, and it's kind of like, you know, every few months we get something that is an improvement, but for the most part we will save up our chests for a month, we'll open them all up, and we may not get any upgrades. We may not get any improvements at that point. So they are blocking off any other people from getting to the altar. They're doing what they can here. 33 didn't want to keep taking bad trades, so they're doing what they can. They are stretching us out a little bit here. If I die, I won't get back, but I guess I could fight at the gate. Let's see where we are in honor points here. Really far down in honor points. Not a lot of grinding going on here. Let's see the honor points by coalition and stuff. Alright, so we're in second in coalition honor. And we're third in camp honor. This is pretty close. Wouldn't mind getting honor points for the coalition reasons. And obviously, we need to get to the 80,000 honor points for all these quests, right? We've got a ways to go. We need to get... Which one is it? Well, there's just a lot of rewards around, like 60,000 honor, 85,000 honor. Is it one of these? No. I mean, this is a pretty good one. This is a decent one. Capturing the Southwell Minster and getting 80,000 honor points for this reward. So at this point, we're just going to stay at the altar. I'm sure they will charge in at some point, and we will be ready for them. Well, it says, is it worth it for me to go for a 5% damage city skin or just keep using the gold cav one? Well, Wally, I have the same question on my other account. So I run like 2 cavalry marches most of the time. Once I expand to 6 marches later in the KvK, I'll have 3 cavalry marches. That would give me 30% defense. With the Twilight Falls, I'm going to get 20% skill damage because my Lucci Philip march is not doing any skill damage. 20% skill damage is something like 11% all damage on those marches. That's going to be like 27.5% of stats. So it's like 20% of stats for 27.5% of stats. To me, Wally, I think you do get that Twilight Falls skin. You don't rush it. I don't think you rush to get the Twilight Falls skin, but I think you do eventually get it. What I've been doing is I've been buying up all of this stuff. I've been buying all the chests in the combat shop. I've been buying all the heads in the combat shop. I've been buying all the stones in the combat shop. And then when I have enough to buy all that stuff up and then still have enough left over to buy Twilight Falls. And by the way, I'll buy these blueprints whenever I need them. Whenever I have enough to get Twilight Falls, I'm gonna buy it. But I buy all this stuff out too, because like the material chests are super important, the stones are important, and for me the gold heads are important too, right? So I'm not rushing the Twilight Falls, but I do think Twilight Falls is better than Divine Abode. I do. Yeah, if you're sitting on 500k in this KvK, I would buy all this out. I'd buy all this out, and then if you have enough at the end of the KvK to buy this, which you probably won't, actually, then I would buy this. So essentially, Wally, what I would do if I were you, I'd buy this out, I'd save the rest of these, I'd go into the next KvK, I'd again buy all this out, buy all the heads, buy all the materials, buy all the stones, and then somewhere along the way in the next KvK, you might have enough for Twilight Falls, and yeah, I think it's worth it. I do think it's worth it. It's not a huge boost, but it's like, you're getting like you're getting somewhere between like 5 to 10% more stats with Twilight Falls. And I mean, that's not bad. 5 to 10% of stats. Yeah, Twilight Falls is definitely the most popular castle skin. And once they got rid of the negative buffs, Twilight Falls got a lot better for many of us. Because I believe Twilight Falls had minus 10% infantry. It might have been infantry defense, I'm not quite sure, but I think it had minus 10% infantry. And so if you're running like 2 infantry marches, it just really nukes the value that you get from Twilight Falls. But once they removed the negative debuffs, yeah, it's always good to maximize damage as well. I mean, doing a ton of damage is the best thing you can do in this game, for sure. Open field, you want to just do a bunch of damage, refresh, come back out, do more damage. That is how you win open field fights. It's not about the trades, it's about the damage. And even as a rally or a garrison, if you can do a lot of damage to the enemy, it makes it harder for them to reinforce. The quicker those garrisons or those rallies lose troops, the faster that happens, the harder it is to fill it up and keep it full, and the better trades you get. We are in a damage meta. I don't see that changing. So build damage everywhere on your account, everywhere you can look. And Twilight Falls does give that. The thing about the Divine Abode is that like 10% Cav defense is so good. Like defense is what Cavs really need. Like Cavs really need defense, so it's very nice to get 10% defense in this thing. The Battles Bloom has health though, so this skin is friggin' amazing. This Battles Bloom skin is freaking amazing. 15% health. And it's now dark out. We went into our city and it became dark out. Can I go back in the city and make it daytime again? I don't want it to be dark. Well, there we go. It's dark now. And it's brightening up again. Look at that. It's already daytime. We love it. All right, we're going out to fight. We're going out to fight. We've collected enough honor. Let's get back in there. Yeah, 19 crit pieces for Wally. That's amazing. 19 crit is a lot. Oh, the only thing that's tough about this fight is like when you retreat into the enemy. All right, so I'm surrounded. I'm gonna retreat a little bit, pull the enemy in. And we are just pew-pewing on them, unloading, getting attacked by somebody, but they're not doing any damage. And now we're just standing still, so let's get back in and fight again. And looks like we cleaned it up here. Looks like we cleaned it up here. Let's go back to the altar. But they're over here. The enemy popping up at all corners of the altar. Bit of a whack-a-mole situation here. Bit of a whack-a-mole situation. They might breach. They might breach the southwest corner. Samperna going over, Payal coming over, PMZN from 3217 coming over. Rotation games happening here at this altar. Good report there. Best report of the day from that Huo. Took a little bit of a relaxation, talked some castle skin theory, and then got back in there with the best trade of the night. And let's target this Meepo. Gorgo primary. That player is back in where I was last KvK with the Gorgo primary. I don't think Gorgo's gonna do the trick at the altar. The Gorgo's still out there. Angel doing a little bit of experimenting there with the Gorgo. Probably the Gorgo Lucci. I did run that the entire last KvK. It wasn't bad. It was not a bad march. Very tanky. Doesn't do a lot of damage, but it will stand out there and take up space. But really happy to bench the Gorgo and upgrade it with Philip. And as they run back here, we're going to try to sink our teeth into some of them, sink our claws into them with that Huo slow on the first skill. Huo's active skill gives a 50% march speed debuff to its target. So we are going to try and slow some of these fools as they run away. Looks like we've hit a point where it's a bit of a fair fight. I'm down to half health. I'm just going to stay out here. I'm just going to do damage, take damage. Hopefully we can give as much as we get. And then we'll just bring the Nevsky to the altar. We cleared a safe path to the altar a few minutes ago. So the Nevsky should be able to get there just fine. Lot of talk happening in Lost Kingdom chat. I think the trash talk is literally going like full blast. I think the trash talk has been going full blast in LKC all night. Looks like Aston Panda from 2906 asking, real question, what happens to your pilots when 2377 has to fight in 1960? I think the answer to that question, I think, is that this war, I believe, is going to be over before the 2377 war starts. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I think this war is going to end like right at the end of February, right? I think this thing is going to end maybe. I think KL kicks off for this thing around February 25th. I can't imagine it's going to be a long KL. I can't imagine it lasts more than like 3 days. So this war is probably going to end around February 28th or 29th. And yeah, there's no way that the 2377-960 war is going to start when this thing ends. So for pilots of the world, and I'm not talking about just one kingdom, I'm talking about all pilots, you know, respect to the aircraft crews out there. I think these two KvKs line up pretty freaking well, actually. I don't think pilot availability is going to be an issue for either of these wars. I think the only pilot question with the upcoming giant war is going to be whether 2377 has any pilot overlap with the other Vietnamese kingdom, 2975. We do know that a lot of these Vietnamese kingdoms have a really strong network, a very tight network. So will those two networks overlap in a detrimental way to that team? They are allied together, 2975 and 2377. They may have a bit of pilot issues there. I will say, like, the thing that people don't realize about pilots, they act like pilots is easy mode, right? But the thing about pilots is you have to get them to play. You have to get pilots to play. And, you know, there's always, I would say in almost every kingdom, there are more accounts that need to be pilots than there are pilots available for those accounts. So you need to create a good situation for those pilots. You need to give them a good fight. You need to have an active voice chat to make it fun. And I think that's part of what being a successful kingdom, and we just have to, we can't really hate the game too much. Because it's just part of it, and it's not, I don't think it's going to change. Now, personally, I think paying pilots to play your account is lame as hell, to be honest. I think paying people to play your account is just really lame. But, you know, if that's part of the future of what gaming is, then that's part of the future. The free market creates opportunities where the market wants them to be. So if people are willing to pay money for others to pilot their account, whether that's barb chaining or fighting in a war, and if there are people out there willing to you know, play for a bit of money, then it's going to happen. But I don't know, something about that rubs me the wrong way a little bit, because it just makes it a little bit too much pay to win. You know, it makes it a little bit, it takes the pay to win a little bit too far. Let's try to get a skill off here. I mean, boy, it is tough to not fight in dot mode, I'm not going to lie. So I think we're not in great shape here. They might push into us here. We'll see, though. But I'm just going to do damage. I'll just do damage. We'll try to get a skill off here. We'll try to get the Ragnar skill off. Yep, we got wrecked. Look at that. We got a skill off, but they got a skill off on us. And that is all she wrote for that march. Woo! Not a good trade on that one. But the Huo's ready to go. Well, it says Kale opens 22nd and Zig on 25th. Yeah, I mean, this one's going to be over. This war is for sure going to be over before the 960 KvK starts, for sure. So 3308 and allies still going pretty hard at this one. Definitely keeping the fight going. Getting a little bit of help from the Darkstalkers at this point as well. And they're getting into our siege. They have gotten into our siege. My really bad trade there, it reflected, or it was a foreboding sign for the next couple of minutes where they are going to get into our siege line a bit here. They're going to eat. They are going to eat a little bit here. Some siege going down. Let's see how quickly this Gajimata Gonzalo melts here. As Yules and others put their claws into it. Still over an hour left on this altar. And this is the most progress that the red team has made in quite a bit of time. They know they can't take over the altar, but they can get value where they find it. Alright, we got plenty of space in the hospital to go hard here. Very small presence over here. Are they trying to ambush us at all? Nope. A little bit, not much though. Terrence Bennett over here on a solo mission. Trying to buff up those kill points a little bit. Alright, I'm going to get in on this one. This one looks like a very advantageous situation. We got the Huo out here. Very good set of gear here. Very good set of gear. Huo Arthur. The best armaments. I'm just going to chill for a minute here and bring my march back out. Bring my other march back out. Here we go. And back in. Alright, we were a little too aggressive there. I guess they're pushing us back again? Question mark? I guess everyone's just running, so I'll run. You never want to be the last to the party in Rise of Kingdoms. You never want to be the last to leave a party. You can be the last to join a party for sure, but do not be the last to leave a party in Rise of Kingdoms. It ain't like real life, that's for sure. Alright, we got both skills off. We do Do a little run and reposition. Gosu, welcome to the stream. Gosu, I did enjoy your video the other day. Let me link to Gosu's channel real quick. I thought Gosu made a very good video about the upcoming big war. I'll link to his channel, but I think it's like his first video. I think it's the most recent video he made. It was like a very short, like, it was a very short, like 4 or 5 minute video. But I thought he made very good points about the upcoming 960 KvK. But, you know, the thing that you said, Gosu, that I liked is you gave like an actual thoughtful assessment of 365, right? Because what I saw from other content creators when they previewed this KvK is they said something like, this war includes Legendary Imperium Kingdom 365, one of the biggest kingdoms in the game, and one of the most well-known kingdoms in the game. But I don't think that says anything about 365. I think that's just like a known, Wikipedia introduction about 365. It doesn't say anything about them. You know, they're a legendary kingdom, and they're big. I mean, they lost their last KvK pretty badly to 2377. They eventually beat 2 A kingdoms in Zone 5, but it did take them a while, and one of those A kingdoms is now in the process of falling apart. And then they did a downsize and got rid of their deadweight. And I mean, maybe 365 recruited in some good players, but honestly, who would have migrated to 365 over the last couple months? Like what like really good player would migrate to 365 in recent months? And so what Gosu said is that 365 is going to get beat by 1093, and that makes the top side a big favorite in that war. And I agree with that. And I would actually go so far, you know, Gosu said that 365 is the 5th strongest camp. I would actually probably say that they are I think they're probably the 6th strongest camp. I think they're probably the weakest camp. I think that the camp with the 3 A kingdoms, where their kill points add up to something like 2.5 billion or 2.5 trillion KP, I think that camp is probably better than 365, simply because that 3A kingdom camp has way more leaders than 365 has. You know, 365 has been around a long time. Saved has been leading that kingdom for many years. I can't imagine their leadership team has grown over time. I would imagine it has probably shrunk, not grown. And I do think 365 is the weak link in that KvK. Now, fortunately for them, they're on the disadvantageous side of the map. Let me see if I can grab that map, and we can maybe look at it a little bit. If anybody wants to message me a picture of that map, that would be awesome. I'm just going to kind of look through some Discords for it at the moment. Mad Mania and Uni, welcome to the stream. Okay, we got this one. Okay, we've got the power here. We've got the power. So here's the power of that KvK. I mean, so what I see is that it's, first of all, I think it's hard for 2377 to beat 1960, right? Obviously, 1960, 2377, they're going to have the much anticipated battle in Zone 5. It is an important Zone 5. But you know, 1960 has 3.2 billion KP. Is this stat? Are these stats right? I assume these stats are right. I think maybe they mean trillion KP, but anyway. You know, look at this. I mean, 960 has 46 players above 30 billion KP. 2377 has less than half of that. The 1960 top 200 has 3.2 trillion KP. 2377 has 1.5. Are these stats just not right or something? I mean, I've seen better images, but here we go. Here's a better one. Here's a better one. Let me grab this. Here's a better picture of this thing. Yeah, so you know, 1365 has 2.5 trillion KP, and this camp up here, this purple camp in Picardy, they've got 2.4 trillion KP, right? So they have the same amount of KP. This triple camp has more power. They have more power than 1365. Now, I'm not familiar with 1473. I'm not familiar with RSR. We did ally with SN94 in our last KvK, and they were quite good. SN41 was quite good, right? And to me, this camp is better than 1365. They've got more power, they've got the same amount of KP, and they have more leaders. They have leaders across 3 kingdoms against a leadership group from 1 kingdom. And to me, that's what makes a big difference. That makes a very big difference. And at the same time, down here in the lower right, you've got 1960 and 2377. 1960 has a bit more KP, a lot less power. Now, I didn't notice this before. I did not notice until just now, but actually the domain is different because the domain power is the key. The domain power has all the farms in it, right? Once you look at the domain power, you know how much power the farms have. So 1960 has nearly as much power as 2377, and they've got a lot more KP, a lot more KP. And we saw what happened. Don't walk away, Nevsky. Don't walk away from me. We saw what happened in the last war when 960 and 2489 met in a zone, one-on-one, and 1960 had the numbers advantage, right? They had more active players than 2489. We saw exactly what happened, which is a very boring fight, quite frankly. A very boring fight, where they went back and forth in the open field. 2489 was never able to muster an offense because they never had the numbers. They never had the numbers. Now, I'm not saying we're going to have a boring fight again, because I do think 2377... I mean, they've done some... I mean, listen, I don't know their leadership too well, but, like, I've seen them fight in a few KvKs. They do some dynamic stuff. They have some good movement. They make good decisions. I think Shark is probably, like, a very good leader, quite frankly. I've seen him do some cool stuff in Osiris League as well. I do think that 2377 is going to try to outplay 1960 in a way that 2489 didn't really try to do. But it's very hard for me to see 2377 locking in 960. And once you're unable to lock in 960, once 960 sort of wins that fight, the top side does have a real advantage, I think. I think they really do have a real advantage, and the dustiness of 1365, as Gosu was willing to say, and that really I don't think any other content creator was willing to say, the dustiness of 365 is a huge factor in this war. Now listen, I hope they prove me wrong and it's an incredibly good fight, but that remains to be seen. And I think, you know, I think 1606 is probably at their peak. I think 1606 is probably as strong as they've ever been. But 2975, I don't know. I mean, they do have a lot of KP. Maybe they're at their peak. Maybe they are. I don't know. We fought against 2975 before. I thought they were good, not great. You know, we beat them quite handily in a zone. We beat them in one day in a zone. But But they were good, and they obviously outplayed 2268 in a zone in that same KvK. So I think that camp is really good. I think the 1606 2975 camp is really, really good because they cover each other's downtime. 1606 is more of an EU American KD. 2975 is Asian. So I think they cover each other's downtime well. They have two strong leadership groups. I think that camp's going to be very good. And it's nice that that camp has the ability to go in both directions. But I do think Topside has a pretty big advantage in that war. Yeah, this Gosu guy, I think it's his wife chatting right now, actually. I think it's his wife chatting. He's making too much sense. But yeah, shout out to Noonie. Shout out to Noonie. He's going to help out our coverage of the 960 war. You know, I'm slowly building up to that one, but we're going to cover that one pretty good on this channel. Do subscribe. If you're enjoying the content of this altar battle, the zoomed in high graphics action, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss the action for the 960 war, because we're going to be boots on the ground. We will give boots on the ground coverage of that 960 war. And yeah, I'm not, you know, I'll just be very well, I probably won't be that honest, because I don't want to I don't like to criticize the kingdoms that let me play with them, but you know, I'll at least drop my predictions now. The domain power is really interesting. This is probably the best graphic I've seen for this KvK, actually. This is probably the best graphic. I don't know if these numbers are accurate, but let's assume they are. Let's just assume. It's more fun to assume these numbers are correct. Look at the domain power of this purple camp. 60.3 billion power in this purple camp against 41.3 in 1365. This camp is definitely stronger than 1365. Like, there's no way that this purple camp is not stronger than the red camp. They have them beat in every metric except kill points and except number of whales. And whales are important. They are definitely important. But I think this is a pretty legit camp. Okay, I just think they're pretty legit. I thought 2941 was honestly a strong kingdom, you know? Like, they got the star. Like, they performed well enough to get the star over us. So, like... and they owned the Evil Empire, right? They were up against... I forget what kingdom it is, but it's like the kingdom that's like 1 EE9 or whatever, the Evil Empire, the Good Osiris League team. They wrecked those guys in Kingsland. They absolutely wrecked them. So... But it'll still... I mean, it's going to be a great war. You know what I mean? It is going to be a great war. And Orleans is a great map for it, because things can happen on that Orleans map for sure. You know, very... Like, the building is very important on the Orleans map. Now, let's think about this. You know, I just thought of this right now, right? Because we played Orleans. We played Orleans like a year ago, right? We played Orleans against... We played against 2217 and a couple of other kingdoms. Now, spoiler alert, they did beat us. I can't look at their stars at the moment. But the thing about Orleans and those zone 5s, because there will be important zone 5s in that Orleans, right? The zone 5 fights are important in terms of securing access, additional access to zone 6, right? The thing about it is, when we fought in Champagne, we put up like a giant fort wall. Like, because we were outnumbered against the enemy. The enemy was extremely strong. They were stronger than us. This is actually where I met Uni. Uni was in our camp. And we had like a very epic war here. But what Adinavo, our former leader, did is he built like a giant fort wall over here. Like in this area here. And years ago, I think it was Nevers, right? Was it Nevers? Yeah, I think it was Nevers. Remember, this is where Song Remember way back in the day, in the original Orleans, when Song did a fort wall over here to like block out 1846? Song did this little fort wall in this corner here, and they secured this pass into Zone 6, right? This is the zone that 2377 and 1960 are going to fight in. They're going to fight in this zone. And let's assume for one moment that 960 is the favorite to win that zone, which I think is a reasonable assumption. If 1960 is the favorite, then 1960 will likely secure this pass. But the main objective in the zone is going to be this pass right here. This pass right here, right? If 2377 assumes that they are the underdog, and they assume that their middle camp is stronger than the enemy's middle camp, and that they actually have a better chance in Ile-de-France against 1960 than they do in Nevers, then 2377 can do some stuff here. They can do some stuff with build planning and forts that could be interesting. It could be interesting. Now, they might just fight them straight up. They might be like, we're just going to go all out in this zone and fight them in Nevers and try to win Nevers. They'll probably do that. But let's keep in mind that this is not a normal bullshit zone. This is not a bullshit zone like in King of All Britain Zone 5, where you fight for it, but it doesn't matter. It's all you're fighting for is the holy site, and that zone is disconnected from all the other zones, right? This is very different. Nevers is very, very different. Nevers is about the pass. It's not about the holy site. It's not about winning the zone. It's about this pass. You got to have this pass so you can get more stuff quickly built in Ile-de-France. So this zone can play differently. And 1365 can probably do the same thing in Maine against 1093. They can probably do something similar in this zone as well to try to defend this pass, right? And I think it makes a bit of sense. I think it does make a bit of sense. But what makes it more complicated is that for the bottom side, for the 2377, 1606, 1365 side, there's a bit of a question of like which zone 6 should they try to win more? Like, should they try to keep 1093 out of Kingsland, or should they try to keep 960 out of Kingsland? That's a very tough decision. I do think if LaMarche really focuses on terrain, that they might be able to win terrain. But I think if 2377 doesn't get devastated here in Nevers, they hold this pass, and then LaMarche goes all in on Ile-de-France. I mean, that's kind of the fight I want to see, right? I want to see 960 get really, really tested, working with 3A Kingdom allies. But Nevers is going to be very interesting in terms of how these two camps play it. Because the thing is, if like... Here's the thing about Nevers. Here's the thing about Nevers. If 2377 goes all in on this zone, and they lose this pass, if 2377 loses this pass, then the KvK is not over, but it's like a real struggle. It's 4 passes. It's 4 passes into Ile-de-France against 2. And that's super tough, especially after you just lost Nevers. Like, if you just lost Nevers and you go into Ile-de-France with 2 passes and hope that LaMarche is going to save your ass. I mean, LaMarche is very strong, but that's a tough ask at that point. And at that point, the Picardy can focus on terrain. So it's a great map. It's a great layout. It's the most interesting configuration that you can have. And I'll be very curious to see like how it plays out and what decisions the different alliances make on that map, because I think you can make very good decisions or you can make very bad ones. Yeah. Because I would... Boy, a fort wall... The problem with 2377 doing a fort wall is probably that they haven't done it very much at all, right? They're probably so geared towards a different style of play than doing a fort wall, because like the problem with a fort wall is you don't have enough teleport space to compete in the open field. Like once they fort wall, if 2377 fort walls, then they just can't compete in the open field. And like at that point, I mean, they just have to, they would just have to fill. They'd have to fill these fort garrisons with like their incredibly good garrisons. I assume they have insane garrisons. They must have like max gear on these garrisons. 960 won't have max rally capacity, but they probably will have Subutai. Like that's the other thing you got to think about is Subutai is going to be in the game for most of that war. And Subutai is going to be such a good rally. And they can swarm the forts, like with the Orleans and with 960 Wales, they can swarm those forts. Like if 2377 does a fort wall, 960 can just swarm those forts down, probably. But maybe you wear down 960. Like, I mean, 960 is like kind of lean, right? Like 960 is pretty lean. I mean, not really. They're leaner than GV77 though. So 960, their main accounts, 960 is leaner than GV77. And so they could try to drain them. But it partly depends on how good Subutai is going to perform against Gorgohera garrisons, right? Like, can Gorgohera trade positively against Subutai where you force 960 to swarm your fort wall? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you drain 960 with a fort wall. That's the thing. Ellis says 960 kind of lean, but they have 100 plus insane accounts and a lot of pilots. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if you have like 100 accounts that can swarm, then it's like, I'm pretty sure you can like balance things out to where you're not draining anyone in particular. But I mean, if you do a fort wall, I do think you kind of negate 960's biggest advantage, which is the open field, which is the pilot network and the strength of the accounts. But maybe 2377 feels like they can compete in the open field quite well, and they may go that direction. I think it's crazy to think that 2377 is going to do a fort wall. I think that's kind of crazy to think. Especially at the beginning. I think ideally what would happen is that there's a way for them to transition to a fort wall if the zone starts going bad for them. Which maybe they could do that. They could maybe do that. But I think fort walls are best set up like right away. So we'll see. We'll see. I think one of the issues with doing a fort wall if you're 2377 is like your players are going to be pissed about it, right? Your players want this fight. Your players joined 2377. Like anybody who migrated to 2377 in the last like 3 or 4 months, they migrated there to fight 960. Like it's implied. It's implied when you go to 2377 that you're going to fight 960 in a giant war at some point. So their players do want to to fight 960. And so I think you kind of have to do that. You kind of have to set up a straight up fight and see what happens. I mean, it's not all about winning and losing, right? You kind of have to have the fight that people want to take. You got to give your players what they want. They've spent enough money and put enough faith in you that you kind of have to give them what they want. But it certainly adds a new wrinkle to the zone, right? It adds a new wrinkle to the zone that it's not about the middle of the zone, it's about those passes. And that fort walls are possible. Alright, so we traded even that time. We traded even that time in the Nevsky. 50 minutes left on the altar. Enemies still coming. I mean, they're still coming, you know. A lot of heart here in this camp. What camp is this? Wessex. Yeah, a lot of heart in Wessex for sure. A lot of desire to fight. And let's go ahead and put some gear on the Scipio. Let's put some gear on the Scipio here and give Scipio Lucci a shot. This is an easy win. Let's give the bench some playing time here and see how it goes. Lucci. Yep, all right. Thank you all for being here. Do throw a like on the stream. I saw a couple of people subbing earlier. Do subscribe if you want more coverage from the two biggest wars of 2025 so far. Well, two out of the three biggest wars. We are boots on the ground covering the 1079, 2906 versus 3308 and 2638 and 2638 KvK. We're boots on the ground here. We're going to give a lot of coverage of the 960 war as well. You don't want to miss that. Plenty of coverage from my home kingdom of 770 as well. Do give me a sub if you are enjoying this content. And yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for being here, everybody. Zero gold chests. Zero gold chests before this altar. And we're gapping Wessex as we speak. Wessex is our opponent. They are third in coalition points. We are second. So we're gapping them as we speak right now. Because we've got the altar and they don't. Pretty good, pretty nice numbers here collecting honor points at the altar. There's Hulk. Hulk, one of the big boys in 3308. Hulk down to 92 power. Let's see where Hulk was at. Hulk has the highest power ever of 118 million. So you can see that Hulk is a pretty lean account in general. Not sure where they started this KvK at. But there was a lot of fighting and a lot of deads taken in the previous zone. '79 and their allies in 1696. Am I lagging or is the game lagging? You know, 1696 and 1079, it's more of a dolphin kingdom, more of a small whale kingdom. 3308 has some very big players. Very, very big players. I can show you the individual kills. And you can see that one of the leaders of 3308, Putin, is in 4th. Shelby is in 6th. Matt Achilles is in 7th. Actually, the enemy side has almost the entire top 10. Almost the entire top 10 in kill points is the enemy team. So they have the bigger whales in this war. Even 3013, even this Kingdom 3013 has a couple of really big hitters here at 23 billion and 22 billion. You can see the 1079 only has Echo in 11th and then Khan in 36th. So yeah, such a long way to go in this war. Such a long way to go. Go. Oh, let's do the hospital. Y'all are slacking in the chat. You're not reminding me to heal my hospital at this point. Let's go ahead and heal this before we get into the fight, actually. I would say this war is maybe halfway over. Maybe halfway over. But no more than that. And as is always the case, the second half of the war is way more important than the first half. The second half of the war is where you win. Siege thinking about moving up a little bit as your boy goes into the fight. They're like, oh, Caveman's going to tank this thing good. True. True. You see so many Wallace Lucchis at altars. Wallace Lucci must be an amazing altar march because I see so many Wallace Lucchis. To me, Cav is like the way to go. Like, I really like Cav at an altar because you can control the Cav march so well. But I see so many people running Wallace Lucci at the altar. I think it's probably just trades super good. Even if you get caught out of position, it probably still trades decently. So it's just like a... It's just like a foolproof march to use. The siege is not getting any of this right now. The actual field fighters eating all the food at the moment. Siege finally getting in on it a little bit. I think we're about to push them back more, and Siege is going to have to pick up and walk again. The power of fighting from your feet on full display here at the minute. I forgot to turn the chat back on the stream, or on the screen. Let me go ahead and put that back up. There we go. In and out. Did damage. Negative trade. It's all good. And now it's time for a little Scipio Lucci. As we walk, we've got a couple minutes walk. Let's take a look at the Alliance kills in this KvK. 1.3 trillion at the top. 1.1 in second. These are both enemies. Then you've got the 2906 1079 duo here. For those who don't know, the king of 2906, Duke used to be one of the main leaders of 1079. He migrated out with a group after kind of a low point for 1079 where they got absolutely wrecked by 1034. At that point, we got rid of like over 50% of the dead weight in the kingdom, went from 4 alliances down to, I think, 1 alliance, basically. Like, it was a huge, huge downsize. But now Duke and 1079 are kind of reunited here, trying to pull off the big win. 2217, kind of been an under-the-radar beast kingdom for a while with 7 stars. They may not be on their best form at the moment either, not sure. And then 3379, a very young kingdom. 1696, an old school, I believe, Korean kingdom. And then it drops off after that. In 8th, you've got 315 million KP. These kingdoms can do a lot of work, though. And, you know, one of the things I'm thinking about now with my kingdom 770 is like, we are definitely more casual than we used to be. We've lost a lot of our talent. We're at about 450 million KP, or 450 billion KP. And the thing is, if we were in a war like this one, right? The pressure wouldn't be too much on us because we'd be like the 8th biggest alliance. But if you're like very coordinated and you play the game well and you have, you know, good players and good leadership, you can do a lot as a smaller alliance. Like, for sure in a KvK like this, you can do a lot as a smaller alliance. So for me, that kind of begs the question, like, which would you rather be? Would you rather be the amusement park in third place, where like the pressure is on you, where you're literally the biggest alliance on your entire side? Or would you rather be somebody like 3217, where you're long past your best days? 3217 used to be like a very big kingdom. They're long past their best days. But let's say they had a lot of talent and a lot of desire to fight in 3217. They could have a huge impact while like not having that much pressure and not necessarily having to spend a ton of money or spend a ton of time securing the victory. So I think there's something to be said for being quite small in kill points, because you can still get in these very fun fights, but you don't have to carry the load. But maybe I'm just coping. Maybe I'm just coping that we're not what we used to be. William primary. William primary. Disappeared quick. Shocker. I think we're leading the pack here. Yeah, everybody else killed some stragglers, so I'm leading the pack. Let's see how long we hold up here at the front of the pack. Looks like I'm going against Godfather here, maybe. He's staying the whole way, so we'll stay the whole way too. If he pulls us in, we retreat. Yeah, well, we're going to fall back a little bit now. Try to get back in before our rage resets. Yep, we managed to do it. There's the Lucci slow. Applying the Lucci slow, falling back a little bit. Rage built up very fast there. Maybe I should have stayed and fought. Yeah, see, the Lucci, or the Scipio Lucci does really well at altars, in my opinion. In my opinion, it does very well at altars. Definitely better than Lucci Philip. Like, there's no way that Lucci Philip does as well as Scipio Lucci. I think All Night had told me one time when I was like 3-4x surrounded. Other than that, it has never told me how surrounded I am. Unless I'm blind. I could be blind. Medvedev. Medvedev going head to head with me here. Who is going to back up first? Neither of us wants to blink here. I think he might take me down. I didn't really get pulled in, so I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to stay locked in here. There we go. Yeah, just like a break-even trade on the Scipio Lucci there, but I mean, I was face-tanking that entire fight, right? I was face-tanking that whole fight. Get a neutral trade. I mean, I think that's quite good. You could argue that that's better than what Huo's out there doing. So here are the other altars. We'll take a look at the other altars. You can see that the enemy has taken this free altar. This is their safe altar. And so the camp of whatever camp this is, the war coalition, they have taken that altar for free. And then our allies are over here. These are our allies from Imp. I don't think this one is free. I think this one is contested, but the enemy decided not to attend. Who took this one? I'm not sure what coalition this is. This must be a farm coalition from our allies, just chilling at the altar, taking a free altar. There you go. That's how you get real value. You send the farm coalition to an altar. There you go. Tough situation for 3308 tonight. I mean, I think it's good they showed up. You know, like, I'm just thinking about it from their perspective, right? I'm just thinking it through from their perspective, right? They showed up. I think they were kind of late. I think they mobilized a little bit late because we weren't sure if they were going to come or not. They never really had the advantage. They never won a fight. You know, they never cleared us from this altar. They got close a few times, but they never really cleared us. So they've been losing the whole time. They've been taking bad trades the whole time. You know, maybe they feel like they can drain us before we drain them. Maybe they just want to give their people action. They tried some things. They moved around a little bit. They tried to cut us off over here. They didn't go crazy. Like, they didn't continuously throw their marches into us and take awful trades. Obviously, my trades have just been kind of like even. I've been zoomed in, you know. But like nothing amazing here at all. My trades. Probably maybe slightly positive. I'm sure other people got very good trades. I think 3308 played it pretty well. They were able to get what they could out of the situation. I think I would have maybe been a little bit more organized early on, like have like very tight balls that very gradually move forward. But honestly, at a certain point, once you know you're losing, I think you just let people cook. I think for the last hour or so, they have basically just let people cook. If you want to fight, you can fight. If you don't want to fight, you know, you can go to bed. Or, you know, watch YouTube streams, or, you know, go adopt a dog or something, you know, whatever you want to do. And if you want to keep fighting, you can, but you can play a little selfishly. You don't have to, like, take outnumbered fights. You don't have to try to get to the altar. I think they played it fine, honestly. The decision tree is never easy when you're losing. There are really no great answers. You just have to find the best of all the bad answers. And there have been plenty of times in this war where 3308 was winning. They won the zone. They won the zone against us. So, you know, when you're losing, you just make the best of a bad situation, and then you're positioned to take full advantage of the times when you are winning. I might fight on the wing more often when I'm zoomed in. I think it's a little bit easier to fight on the wing. You can kind of like see who's attacking you a little bit better. Like I can see I can see I'm actually out of position right now. And we got away. We scooted away pretty good there, actually. We scooted away pretty good. Maybe turn here. I guess not many of us are here. I guess I should keep falling back. Hold into the siege line a little bit here. And assume the enemy will keep coming. Looks like I'm melting a full health Wallace here. Let's keep going, actually. Let's just keep going. Ride the momentum of your ball a little bit here. We turn this thing very fast. So, no reason to back up. Let's just keep going. Try to turn this ratio a little positive. Charles Martel primary from Sexy Katie. That is sexy. That is very easy and very sexy. A Charles Martel primary in ROK 2025. And she gets away. Sexy Katie's the one that got away. We're still here, doing the deeps. We're getting hit. We're taking hits. I don't love this situation. Looks like my team is falling back again. I'm not going to be the last to leave, but I'm not going to be... I'm just not going to be the last to leave. I'm not going to be the first to leave, but I definitely won't be the last. Looks like this time it's going to be Morgoth. Morgoth, one of the big killers for 79. I think Morgoth got the worst of that one. But there we go. Very good trade that time for the Huo. You can see we did a bit of work on the Charles. Okay, so Charles Pakal here for Sexy Katie. Actually not that bad. Let's see who we did really good damage against. Spread it out a little bit. Got some very good AoE here. We getting attacked? Oh my gosh. We're coming in deep. All right, this is where we turn. I think this is accepted by all of us that this is where we turn. No more falling back. You cannot cross the dotted line. Not when we've kept you off it for 2 straight hours. Sounds like they're just vibing out in voice chat. Nobody's saying when to turn. We're just figuring it out on our own here. Which is why it's nice when there's a dotted line that kind of tells you like, okay, boys, this is where we do it. This is where we do it. I could do this dance. I could do this very simple dance for a while. We go through, we wait to see when our friends in blue fall back. We get to the dotted line and then we chase them all the way down this cliffside over and over again. Sure. I can paint by numbers at this hour. It's only 10:30. It's only 10:30 at night. I'll give you all a glimpse at my life at the moment. Don't have a lot of work. The business is pretty slow. I woke up very late because tomorrow at my local poker room, they're doing a Valentine's Day promo from I think 8 a.m. until 11 at night. They're going to give away like $100 or $150 every 20 minutes. You know, there's going to be like a seat drawing for one seat is going to get like $100. Maybe 150 for all us skells on Valentine's Day. So basically, I'm gonna finish editing a YouTube video after this. Then I'm gonna go over to the casino, use my comp points to have a graveyard meal. Steak and eggs, $6.50. One of the deals of the century here in Las Vegas. So I'll have steak and eggs at about, I don't know, 3 in the morning, something like that. And then I'm going to start playing poker. I'm going to start playing poker at about 3 in the morning because the promo tomorrow is so good that people are going to fill up that poker room very quickly. It's a 30-table poker room, and I would imagine every seat is going to be filled by about 10 a.m. So after this stream, I'm just going to edit a YouTube video and then play poker all night. Play poker all night and all morning, and I'll just fall asleep when I get tired. So that's my life at the moment. Definitely not for everybody. And for the most part, I would rather sit at my PC all day and work and just make some guaranteed money, but you do what you got to do, and I am a pretty good poker player, so as long as I don't drink too much, I generally am a long-term profitable player. Especially when there are some very, very good promos to supplement that hourly rate. Let me just check the stream health a little bit here. Looks like we've been... It looks like the connection is really good. And very appreciative of the viewership. Thank you all for tuning in. Glad you're enjoying this action, this late night action. This has been a good one for sure. And we'll try this Nevsky again. I'm gonna bring the Scipio out again. The Scipio Lucci was actually quite good. And we'll bring the Huo out. I'd be surprised if all three of these guys get another shot at this. I feel like it's nearing the end, but I'll tell you what's gonna happen. I'll tell you what's gonna happen. And why this fight's gonna go for a while. This is a very juicy bounty right here for 3308. This is a very juicy bounty. You have a lot of AFK players here, a lot of people who've probably gone to sleep, right? This is not like a great time for an altar. You have a bunch of like Americans who have brought their march here and then they've gone to sleep. You've also got a lot of Euros who might have woken up in the middle of the night, saw that they could get to the altar safely, jumped on their phone, threw a march here, and then went back to sleep. So, when this altar ends, there's going to be a longer fight here where 3308 is going to try to clear this entire buffet at the altar, and we're going to try to defend it. You know, to some extent, we're going to try to defend this thing. You can get some good kills hiding in the ball. I'm going to tell them exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to hide right in this ball. I'm just going to hide in here somewhere. I'm going to wait for 3308 to like start attacking some of these AFKs, and then I'll just give those players a couple of love taps, and maybe they won't notice me, and we'll just get like really, really good trades, you know? That's what I'm gonna do. That's my plan. How slow is this Nevsky? I mean, I feel like I've been waiting for this guy to get to the front for a while now. Maybe Nevsky isn't meta. Maybe this old timer got slow. I don't know. Nevsky's got march speed on him, right? I mean, he's an absolute stud for stats. He's got 20% march speed. Maybe it's the Ragnar. I guess the Ragnar... No, the Ragnar gives another 10%. The Ragnar gives another 10% march speed. So there you go. Alright, so here they come. We got here just in time for the turnaround. The turnaround moment. Look at this. Now these guys are learning the script here. They're like, oh my gosh, we got to that friggin' dotted line. That is the most dangerous dotted line I've ever seen in my life. We need to run from this thing immediately. I mean, they finally figured it out. They figured it out about 5 minutes after we did. Because they got to that dotted line and we all turned on them. We all turned on them. And now we're not sure, you know? Now we're not sure. And I see Mupu here. I feel like Mupu's ditched me in the past. So, yeah, I'm going to be I guess I am the last to leave this time. But look at this. Look at this slick movement by 1079 right there. A couple of 1079 sharks right there. Just really slick movement. Not catching a single one of us. Not catching a single one of us. You love to see it. It's not all about just being like Braveheart YOLOing into the enemy. Or Jon Snow. You know, I know the ladies love Jon Snow. Okay, I get it. And it's impressive to be like, I'm Jon Snow. I charge in. I ignore the numbers. I just charge in. But like, there's a finesse to this. There's a finesse to this thing. You gotta kind of watch your teammates. You gotta do what your teammates do. You gotta vibe with them. If your teammates want to be dancy, you gotta dance with them. You know, Jon Snow, for all his strengths, I never saw Jon Snow dance. I watched all 7 seasons of Game of Thrones, and I never once saw Jon Snow dance. But look at this dance that S79 is doing at the minute. Bringing some enemies in. We're bringing them into us. We're not getting caught out. As night falls here, we do seem to be leading this dance for now. I'm a little deep. I'm just going to kind of, you know, take a little bit of damage, maybe pull them in a little bit. Let's see. Look, now we've got the numbers. Look at now we've got like 4 more people coming in. Suga, China Long, Athena all coming in. Beartooth coming in. Now we got like a real good numbers advantage. And now we just lean on them. Now you just lean. This is the part of the dance where you lean. Spin them around a couple times. And just lean. I haven't hit the back button in like 12 seconds. That's crazy. It looks like we're starting to feel ourselves a little bit. The movement has been very, very nice for the last couple of minutes. Bit of an outplay, you could say. And a lot of us are staying. Look how many Nevskis we've got out here. The Nevskis come out at night. I think we've got an XY in the mix as well. I think I saw an XY in our little pack of wolves here. A very heavy cav presence here. I might have gone too far there. Yeah, I went too far. Surrounded 5x. Alright, I got a little bit overeager there. A little overeager. Got a little overeager. Oh, there's another Charles. A different player with Charles. Looks like Charles Pakal is like a thing. One of those foolproof marches. I always thought Pakal Herald was a bit of an underrated march. I mean, I know it's just a pure trade bot, but, you know, a lot of people are motivated by getting good trades. And so you give Pakal Herald to the right person, and they look at their battle reports and keep seeing good stuff. Certain people are more likely to keep fighting when that's the case, so. I would like to see an entire... I think at some point this game is going to have so many commanders. The only thing that will screw this up is power creep, but you could get to a point where you could have like 3 marches that are all poke damage, all normal damage. You don't even have to pay attention to the rage bar. The rage bar means like basically nothing. You're just like getting more damage from the poke, from the normal damage, the white damage. And at that point you can play in a very interesting way, right? You can play super position oriented. You don't have to care about the rage bar at all. You just kind of like frontline fight. You just essentially rub shoulders with the enemy. You're at the front of your ball, they're at the front of their ball, and you're just doing this white damage. You're just doing slightly more white damage than they are every single turn. And then you look at the report at the end and you're like, oh, that was a winning trade. Like, I didn't do anything in that fight. I never once overcommitted. I never once stayed 5 seconds too long trying to get a skill off. I would love to have like a poke you know, like a 3-march poke comp. I don't know that we're going to get there at any point, but I mean, at the moment we have like, well, at the moment we have Wallace Lucci, and then Arthur. You know, combo damage is not exactly normal damage. It's not as white damage oriented as normal damage is, but it's close. It's close. So maybe something like Arthur Subutai could be a bit of a poke march. Maybe, you know, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what else might work there, but you know, Arthur can be a bit of a poke comp, especially with the right secondary. Maybe there's like another normal damage commander in the next infantry release, and then in an artifact KvK you can run like Arthur infantry secondary and have like a 2-march poke comp. I just think it'll be pretty fun to try that out, because you know, it's like when you stay too long trying to get that rage bar filled, it can be painful. It can be very painful. All right, let's see if we can get this Huo slow into some of these guys. All right, I'm a little bit... I don't know what I am. Am I out of position? I'm pretty far forward, I know that much. But we have them so outnumbered, I feel like we could just keep going. I'm going to kind of hide behind Pablo and Pure Athena here. And just try to unload here. Look at BitGit over here. BitGit's on the wing here. Let's try to just empty the clip into BitGit. Or BitGitty. Now we're just now we're out of position, you know. I was trying to get BitGitty and he trapped me. Completely trapped me there. We had a good thing, but overplayed the hand. Yeah, we'll stay here though. We'll take this fight. I mean, we've got them outnumbered 6-1. I mean, come on. One more skill, and we're out. And we're out. Is this just a very quiet song? What's going on with this music? I think it stopped, right? All right, there we go. I don't know if the music stopped or if the last song was just like had a insanely long build up. We'll never know. All right, we'll bring the Scipio in. Yeah, that trade was good, even though the second, the last part of that fight was pretty bad for me. The start of it was so good. We had such a good dance going for the first 3 or 4 minutes that we did get a good trade that time. We did get a good trade. I will give you all the full scope of this altar battle for anybody who, you know, is watching later and really enjoyed this, you know, and tuned in for a while. I'm going to give you the full scope here. I showed you the initial attack. If you go to the very start of the stream, you will see the very first contact at this altar. We had control the whole time. We definitely had control of this altar the whole time. It was pretty chill. But the end, the very end of this thing, you know, after we've collected all the honor points we can collect, after, you know, we've moved into second place in coalition honor and built up a pretty nice gap here against our direct opponents, after all that occurs, the enemy is going to clear us out here. The enemy, sooner or later, is going to clear us out. This is too juicy of a bounty here. Their numbers will increase. 3308's numbers are going to increase over the next 30 minutes because people are going to want this KP. Now, I don't know how much we're motivating our players to stay. I'm not reading Alliance chat. I'm not looking at the markers, and I'm not hearing anything in voice. But what we could do is extend this fight for a very long time, because this could go on for another 30 minutes. There's so much here to fight, and we have the numbers advantage right now, so we could keep them off this thing for a long time. They're going to keep coming. We could keep them off it. Inevitably, some of us are going to go home, because there's nothing else for us to gain here other than protecting a bunch of marches that couldn't be bothered to stay awake. So that's the end of these altar fights, is the cleanup job. And in a big KvK like this, the cleanup job is quite a process. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I'll stay out here because last night I was at another altar fight last night where there was no fighting at all, and then at the end the enemy came and tried to clean up our marches. And I had really good trades just hiding in this ball. So I'll do it again. Surrounded X7, that's not good. That's not good. Alright, hitting the point of their the tip of their spear now. Don't want to get pulled out of position. There's the tip of their spear. I can see it. I can see among all this madness. I did see the tip of the spear. Took it out. Auto retreated. The Scipio Lucci's only been out here twice, but I think it's going to get the best trades of the night. Found itself in some fortuitous situations and was pretty tanky. Scipio Lucci, not the talk of the town lately as far as commanders go. Everybody's hyped about the new stuff, but a couple of top tier, a couple of S tier infantry commanders has never done anybody wrong in Rise of Kingdoms. That's kind of what I want to play the most, is I want to play an infantry account, like an almost pure infantry account, just to see how it does. My style fits Cavs the best. I could care less about playing an archer account. But an infantry account, like a really tanky, well-built infantry account that can stay at the front of the ball, doesn't have to move back as often as Cav does. I would love to see what that is like. Because, I mean, look at this Scipio. Look at the Scipio just really out there, really out front. Space, creating space. I mean, this Scipio is really creating space out here. Now, when everybody retreats, I am a little bit... That's the problem. I can't retreat with everybody. I have to anticipate their retreat. I can't... When I react to the retreat of my teammates, I do get wrecked. I do get wrecked. I'm just going to stay with the pack. I'll eventually kill this guy off, but we'll stay with the pack here. Looks like a couple people got caught out. Looks like this Huo's going down. Jake Obsession. Is there somebody inside of us? No. Alright, we can kill Shen here. Looks like Shen's trying to kill off his march. We'll oblige. I guess we're turning on him here. Sexy Katie. Sexy Katie needs to go back to the Charles Martel. Seemed like she might have done better with it. But yeah, looks like we're turning. A bunch of half-health marches of us. We're fine with getting killed off. It's making us more aggressive. Carrillo out here as well. Carrillo would love to die, but it's making us aggressive. And we've got the numbers, so, you know. Sometimes the bootleg approach works. It's a bit of a bootleg army we've got here, but we at least kept them off the altar for a little bit longer. Old Man Nevsky. Old Man Nevsky having himself a day. 2-minute walk to the front lines. This thing has got to be over, like, very soon. Yeah, 2.5 minutes. I'm going to be very curious to see what happens when this altar ends. Are we all just going to leave? Or are we going to stay and fight? I'm very curious. You can see the numbers. You can see the numbers of 3308 are just kind of like very gradually increasing. I mean, look at this. I mean, look at them already, actually. I think they're going to clean us up fast. I actually think they're going to clean us up very fast because we don't have a lot of active fighters left. In fact, I think they just wiped a bunch of our active fighters. So I might just hide in here, like, right now. Because, like, they're already clearing us. The altar has not even ended. The word is out that there's some kill points to be had. These guys have had negative trades all night. They have a last-minute chance to slightly neutralize the numbers and improve the ratio. So I might just hide. I just might hide right now. I might just hide right now. So RG just canceled a coalition marker. We don't know what RG's canceling markers. RG's canceling markers. We don't know what those markers said, and we don't know what the new message is, but we do know that RG's canceling markers. Now, what's going on here? Can we clear this ball one more time? I think we maybe can. I think maybe we can clear this ball one more time. I'm not gonna hide yet. I'm gonna give it the old college try here. Clear their ball one more time. Give our AFKs a few minutes. Let's give them a few minutes to maybe save their hides, but I mean, the altar hasn't even ended, so like I don't blame anyone for not leaving yet, but it's about time to get on your horse. Yeah, I think we can clear them one more time. We're going to save them one more time. I'm actually going to join this fight at the absolute perfect moment. I am full health, and the enemy is in full-on retreat. Let's eat. Oh, Putin. I don't want to go too far. I don't want to be too overeager. Let's not be overeager. But I mean, no one's attacking us at the minute. We're going to just pull back a little bit. Yep, get off me. I'm full health. I want to eat. Don't harsh my vibe. All right, not too far in. Yeah, we're just, you know, we're the tip of the spear, but we're not ahead of the spear. We're just gonna tip it. I'm a little bit okay. This guy on the wing's harassing me now. Get off me. Get off me. Yeah, so this is where we retreat. I've been dancing with these dudes for long enough where I know that this is where my teammates start to fall back. We love it when it's easy. We hate it when it's hard. Min's still over here on the wing. I'm just going to finish off Ming if I can. I'm a little bit too far ahead. I need to get the skills off, though. I got the skills off. Got the skill off. There we go. Now we're running. All right. Popo, how's it going? Good to see you, my friend. I feel like a lot of times when I stream late at night like this, Popo is able to jump on. These are Popo hours. One of my best memories, actually. Uni was in here earlier. Uni's another late night guy. One of my best memories in this game, actually, was the last night of the 2268 war when Popo, Uni, and I were on voice, and we just ripped through Wind Camp. We absolutely ripped through Wind Camp for like 12 straight hours. It was an extremely mechanical dismantling. Like, there was no emotion to it. There didn't need to be any emotion to it, because we were just like, what is the best way to, you know, defeat their very meager defense and build so that they were just like lost territory as fast as possible. It was surgical. It was an absolute surgical destruction of a very important flank in that war. And essentially what happened was the next morning, 2268 woke up and saw that their allies were gone. And literally, me and Popo and Uni, we were just sitting on voice, and it was one of the most chill voice chats ever, because it was like mechanical. It was absolutely mechanical and robotic what we did. You didn't have to motivate. We didn't have to motivate anyone to do anything, because it was just like, this is what's in front of us. This is a very, very easy goal to... Not a very easy goal, but it's like a relatively easy goal to accomplish. And Uni and Popo were just like sitting there talking about, okay, if we build a flag here, it'll do that. If we build a flag here instead, it'll do this. I was listening. I was organizing the rallies on their flags. And... yeah, one of the all-time most fun nights I had, because I like when it's robotic. I really am at my best when everything is very robotic and analytical, and that's all you have to factor in. Popo says 2268 best KvK for me in ROK was so fun. Yeah, it's probably the best KvK for me. I mean, I don't know. You know, I was expecting to get a lot more out of this hiding among the AFKs. It's not working. I'm gonna go dot mode. I'm gonna go dot mode here, just because like it's a little bit easier here, right? I should have gone dot mode earlier. Because they don't really want to attack me. Like these marches don't want to get attacked, right? These enemies do not want to be attacked. So when I attack them, they tend to run away. So I don't really want to stick with them. But look at how I can just eat. You know what I mean? I can just eat. I can just eat among the AFKs. Eventually they'll wise up and be like, hey, there's no active fighters left. Let's kill the last one here. But I can eat a little bit here. I can eat a little bit at the end here. All right, I think my time may soon be up. I can just die. My march is so low, I can just die. Yeah. I'll just go down. Let's go down swinging right here. Almost all the AFKs got cleared out. That was very fast. Very fast AFK clear out by 3308. We were talking about things being surgical. They were pretty surgical about that one. Didn't have great numbers for most of the night, but as soon as things looked favorable for them, their numbers increased precipitously, and they cleared us out about 500, or about like 5x faster than I expected. I thought we could maybe hold out for like 15 minutes. We held out for about 2. And yeah, a couple of losing trades to end the night, but you know, we gained a few spots in the autark leaderboard. Not a ton, but we gained a few. We kept the ratio roughly as clean as it is right now. Obviously, I could have done better if I was in dot mode. If I was in dot mode, this would have been a very different stream. You would have just seen a bunch of dots on the screen. I tried to make it enjoyable. I tried to stay zoomed in. I'm going to continue to do that as often as I can in Wars. And maybe I'll get better at it, or maybe it will just be very, very hard to be a zoomed-in fighter in Rise of Kingdoms. We'll figure that out as things go on. Yeah, Putin's here. Putin's here. I was not familiar with Putin. Actually, Putin is not a player that I had heard of before this KvK, to be honest. I'm not in all the circles of whales and stuff like that. But Putin is definitely making their mark on this one. Let's look at the top. Let's look at the autark leaderboard here. Let's look at the autark leaderboard. Who is putting in the most work here? Oh, that's honor roll. That's very different. Yep, so Putin's in first here. Putin is actually in first in autark. 3308 has the top 4 spots. Putin, Rock P, Mad Achilles, and Lock 6688. I would say these guys could improve their name game a little bit. Putin is a really good name. Like, regardless of what you think about, you know, regardless of your politics and stuff, I would say Putin is a great ROK name. Mad Achilles is also a very good name, but second place and fourth place, they could work on their names for sure. Not very good names there. And then Fan Putin in 10th as well, or 9th as well. So almost all of the top 10 are from people in a kingdom that starts with a 3. You know, among the many interesting things happening in this war is the fact that we are seeing some of these new Season of Conquest kingdoms really rise, right? When you're in the early game and you're a big kingdom, you have a lot of hype around you, but you're not being challenged, right? You're not being challenged. And so some of the kingdoms that come into Season of Conquest, and to be candid, I would group our allies from 3217 in this. 3217 was a very big kingdom in their early days. But what happens is you come into Season of Conquest, you then get thrown into a very competitive war like this one, and you find out if you are actually good. If you're not actually good, players leave quite quickly. I think we're seeing, I think we really are seeing here the next generation of new kingdoms that can really compete at a high level. There's no doubt in my mind that 3308, they can compete at a high level. I think they've played quite well overall from what I have seen. And 3379, at the very least, has a lot of people representing on the leaderboard too. I think they're winning, and they're winning. Like, they're part of the 2906. They're part of that 2906 coalition that has won their zone. So, yeah, really interesting. 3308 and 3379 here. Yeah, definitely letting their numbers be known at this point. With so many people on this leaderboard. I mean, so many people on this autark leaderboard here. Let's see if there's any names that we recognize here near the top. Haven't played with many of these kingdoms before, to be honest. I know Fatty and Malik. Like, obviously I know Fatty and Malik. We fought against them about a year ago. Fatty's the former leader of 2217, or he's the former co-leader of 2217. Malik is the guy from 2217 who's always spamming Facebook with recruitment posts. So they now have a shared account. I think Fatty has taken a bit of a step back from the game. And other than that, a lot of players who I am fighting for the first time. Obviously, Mad Achilles is a well-known YouTuber. I appreciate Mad Achilles not streaming tonight. I think that helped my numbers quite a bit. I've had to compete with him in the past during this KvK, so I appreciate him taking the night off. I'm looking at healing. Thank you, Popo. Thank you. That's healing. Here's kills. All right, I was looking at healing. Kills is a little bit different. Putin is still out ahead. Dark Lady's second. Yeah, this is a very different list, actually. Lenland much higher up from 2217. Another player, Yasso, from 2217. Yeah, that's healing. Let's see where Fatty and Malik are on this list. Because they were pretty high up in... So let's see. So Fatty and Malik are at 329 in kills. What are they at in heals? 329 against 344. So yeah, just a slightly negative there. Let's look at Baldwin. Baldwin is at 359. Baldwin's like a big whale in 3308. Baldwin's at 359 in healing and 465 in Autark. Really good ratio for Baldwin here. I think you'll probably see some pretty crazy ratios. Mad Achilles 788 to 6667. Like, very positive ratio for Achilles. Putin has a nice ratio as well. You can see that these... Well, let's see. So Locke 688 is slightly positive. Locke 688 is slightly positive. What about Rock P? Rock P's at 740. Where's Rock P? So Rock P, a bit of the more vulnerable of the 3308 whales. We can do a bit of a scouting report here at the end of this stream. Thank you, Popo, for noticing this. Rock P, quite the negative ratio, actually. Quite the negative ratio on Rock P. So when you see Rock P in the field, just get the good trade. You know, he's probably going to be out of position. He or she is probably going to be out of position. Go ahead and get that good trade. Feel good for a moment before you have to you know, try to punch Putin in the nose or something like that. Let's look at a couple other of 3308's whales. Ashkenai is at 582 and 601. So slightly negative on Ashkenai. Slightly negative. Tyler. I feel like Tyler's been good. Tyler was one of their main rally leads. I'm going to guess that Tyler has a good ratio. So Tyler's at 503 in kills. 409. Yeah, good ratio for Tyler for sure. And then Tran through Doan. If I can just be stereotypical, I would say the Vietnamese players are generally pretty value-oriented players. I would bet that Tran has a good ratio as well. 474 to 446. Not too much. Not too much. Poe says maybe he just tanks. Yeah, he might. Listen, I'm just saying, like, if you see Rock P, at least know that, like, he's probably not outplaying you. Like, wherever he's standing, he's probably not outplaying you. And if you're a casual person who's like listening to advice based on ratios, then just sink your claws into Rock P and get the good trade. Now listen, if Rock P runs it into the middle of our ball, I'm going to ignore him, right? In like a real fight, I'm going to be in dot mode. Maybe, I don't know. And I'm going to ignore this guy. But like for the people who are standing in the middle of our ball, they can feel just fine teeing off on Rock P. We looked at Baldwin. Mang. Let's look at... So Mang has been... I think Mang has been pretty good. I remember fighting against Mang a fair bit. He's been pretty... He's had some good maneuvers, I believe. So Mang's at 397. Mang's at 397. And where is Mang on healing? Yeah, so Mang's at 397, 279. A really good ratio on Mang. The opposite of Rock P, right? Like, he's the exact opposite of Rock P. When you're attacking Mang, there's a very good chance that you are the one who's out of position. Because I don't remember Mang getting pulled out of position very often. I think Mang was a very calculating open field fighter. So that's kind of what I'm saying is, like, you know, if you're zoomed in, if you can read enemy nameplates, you can get a bit of a sense of, like, whether you're in the right spot or not based on, like, who the enemy is you're fighting against, right? When I was fighting against Mang, it was hard for me to get an advantage against him. And the stats kind of bear that out. But look, we've been pushed back to our pass. We're all the way back to the pass. How quickly things changed. Pada is going to try to get a few kill points, and they're going to be our last defense here with a little cheeseburger action. But Altar was won by our coalition. Very nice fight tonight. Fan Putin finishing first. Fan Putin finishing first. Look at me. Look at me in 18th place here. And that's not in dot mode. That's in zoomed in mode the whole night. I was zoomed in the whole night, and I got 18th place. That is pretty good, in my opinion. But shout out to Fan Putin shout out to all these 3308 players leading the way, even though they were taking the worst of it most of the time. It shows like just how strong these whales are. You know, they can pump out a lot of damage, and they have a lot of resources and speed ups behind it. So yeah, long fight to go. Altars do favor 1079's coalition, but these bigger zones have so far favored 3308. So yeah, the level 7 passes will be next. That's going to be on... let me give you the exact date for the level 7 passes. I believe Wally gave it to me earlier in the chat. I think these passes are going to open on the 19th. Yeah, these level 7 passes will open on the 19th. And then Kingsland is going to be on the 22nd. So, you know, that's really the next stage is going to be the pass battles. The pass battles will be interesting for sure. Will we see Eleanor Hera? Like, will we see the Eleanor in the one place in the game where she's actually good? Or will teams go with, you know, the counterattack damage garrisons of Gorgo or CY? We'll see. We'll see. But the level 7 passes are next, and plenty more to come from this war in the future. If you've made it this far in the live stream, do throw a like on your way out. If you aren't subscribed, do subscribe to my channel. I have a lot more coverage of this war coming up in the future. And until next time, I'll see you all on the flip side.